So I think this is the key point here, is that the proof of work energy expenditure is actually transforming what would just be kind of video game asset into a macroeconomic asset. It's creating a vortex in the real world. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's your connection to thermodynamic reality and socio-political reality.
Exactly.
You can't be in denial of those two.
Yes.
But what people think of you matters. If the person is the police officer on the beat or runs the country, what they think of you matters.
Yes.
And what nature thinks of you matters. If you decide to step off a cliff by looking the wrong way, nature's opinion matters, whether or not you respect nature or not. And so it's very important that if you're building something that you want to last for 1,000 years, you respect politics.
Yeah.
And you respect thermodynamics and you respect physics.
Yes.
And proof of work is this is very creative invention to continually connect and synchronize the Bitcoin network with political physical reality.
It's
never ending evolution. Every 4 years, every 2 years. New miner, a new chip, a new place, a new thing. Throw away the old. The old generation has to die so the new generation can form, so that the creature can evolve. Otherwise, the creature stagnates and becomes progressively more fragile. Until it's no longer capable of competing in the real world.
And that energetic anchor to these realities, energetic, which begets socio-political reality. This is what's keeping all network participants honest and accountable, right? There's this synchronization and rule set imposed upon them every 10 minutes that you can't avoid. It's like gravity, you just cannot ignore it.
Yeah, it's quite a wonderful thing. It's a crypto universe.
Yeah.
Satoshi played God. Created, either call it creating your own universe and setting the planets in motion by defining the space-time constant, or the other metaphor is you released a creature into cyberspace. You set the genetic DNA of the creature. You controlled how it will procreate. And once you release the thing, then, it spreads as some kind of swarm life form, continually evolving. So I think with that, I think we conclude that the Bitcoin mining network and the Bitcoin network in general is quite a wonderful thing. Now, the next question is, how does it scale? If we go beyond the network, the primary purpose of the Bitcoin mining network is to provide security and enforce, protocol integrity and durability of the system. And it does that very well. But so how do we actually scale out to provide hundreds of billions of transactions a day to billions of people on the planet at the speed of light, using the latest computer technology? And that's, I think, where a lot of people fall down. They don't, they just want to look at the base chain and say, well, it moves 7 transactions a second, and so you can't scale. But they lack the imagination to understand the consequences of the layering. So the Bitcoin monetary network, it scales based upon platforms at the layer 2 level, and then applications above that level. And you could call them layer 3 applications, or you can also have applications embedded in applications on top of applications. So you could have layers 4, 5, 6, and 7, and eventually you could have interplay between the applications. But for the purpose of our discussion, let's just call them layer 2 platforms and layer 3 applications in order to keep from getting too confusing in our semantics. So what's the most important one? Well, Lightning is a very interesting and maybe the most important layer 2 platform. And the idea behind Lightning is I want something to be exponentially faster and exponentially cheaper And in return, I'm willing to secure exponentially less money. So if I have only $100 at risk, then there's no reason why I couldn't do 10 million transactions on that channel. And that totally makes sense, because as you scale out, if you look at the transactions that 8 billion people need to make on this planet every single day, you know, the majority of the transactions are actually of value less than $1. In fact, there are plenty of transactions that could be valued in pennies. And then the big transactions might be $10, $100 or $1,000. And if you, if you were to look at the transaction stream on the Visa network or the MasterCard network, right? I mean, the average check is like $28 or something, but there's billions and billions and billions of them. They go on. So that you don't really need the final settlement security of Bitcoin, because that's the highest level of security in the world. And you're getting that to move $1 billion. You probably only need to move $1 billion around, you know, occasionally. It's like if I moved 7 nuclear powered aircraft carriers per second anywhere in the universe, I could probably win whatever war I wanted to win. If that's what I'm using my teleportation power for. So Bitcoin is good for teleporting large chunks of value, but for all of the routine work, you want something smaller. And so the logical thing to do is, the way Lightning gets at it is you're putting liquidity in a channel, you're putting value in a channel, and the channel is at risk, but the overall blockchain isn't. And of course, the beauty is you get to keep your keys and keep custody of that. So that's a very fascinating thing. You can build the universe on Lightning. So presumably you could give 8 billion people Lightning wallet or wallets, more than one. You could build Lightning into PayPal and Square Cash and Apple Pay and Google Pay and Facebook and every messaging app. And you could use it at all scale, not just to move money, but to move anything. The other day, I did 1,000 Satoshi transaction on Lightning for 1 Satoshi in 1 second.